And I am back, folks, like herpes. This is Mr. Nibb. Today it's not a Nibbonometry, but it's fairly similar. I'm going to be going over the Antman event, discussing in detail various topics from his kit, the campaign itself, the variants of shards and fragments. There's a lot of topics to discuss. I'm not really sure how I feel about this event, but I'm going to try and detail it in the best way possible. And I'm also eliminating all of the story elements from the videos except for the beginning, just to give you a taste of what's to come if you played any of the other events. Crossbones, Elektra, Deadpool, etc. It's very similar to that, although the story's not as good as, say, the Deadpool one, I wouldn't say, but that's just my personal opinion. There's some controversy going on with this particular event. They changed things up. In the past, they've released heroes and characters through raids, and then they did the chimichanga thing with Deadpool, and it was Blitz events. Now it's campaign, and yeah, it's been a lukewarm response. I know plenty of people in my alliance that have put in tickets over fragments, but I'm really not going to get into that. First of all, the way the campaign works is you get energy. If you played any other games out there like Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, it's much like the Cantina in a lot of ways, where you have X amount of energy that regenerates over the course of the day, and you can spend that energy to do these nodes. Now, if you haven't done it already and you're a higher level character, go straight to the hard variants of it, because if you completed on the hard variants and you 3-star any of the nodes, it automatically unlocks the 3-star on the easy or medium one. So just to get that out of the way, you should, if you're a higher level character, always just go to do the very hard. It's not even all that hard, to be honest. But that said, you go through this campaign and you spend your energy. There's a couple or 2 or 3 nodes that are 20 energy. The rest of them are 10. The caveat is there is a limited amount of times that you can not only do this in a day. I mean, obviously you can refresh it like any other node in the campaigns, where you can spend 50 cores to refresh, and obviously it exponentially grows as you keep doing it over and over again. And you can do the same for this special campaign energy. So if you want to spend some money, you can, which is cool. I liked that idea until I started seeing the drop rates. They're kind of atrocious. So you go through this campaign and you can do these nodes, and there's an X amount on certain nodes that you can gain fragments from. After that, you get nothing. And you'll see it's above every one of the nodes. It tells you how much is left in there. So like over the course of it, the event, you know which nodes that you can go to. Here's the thing. These fragments don't drop very well, and only on the hard mode variants of this particular event are you guaranteed fragments the first time you beat it. All the other ones you're not guaranteed, which is another reason you should just go ahead and do like the hard mode variants of it. After that, they're few and far in between, which is I'm not a big fan. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I actually put in a ticket because I thought it was broken. After I finished the event, I went back, I refreshed both my energy and the final node itself, because the final node drops advanced basic catalyst, and we all know how rare those are. So I was like, alright, I'm going to grab some of those. And I did it like times 9 or whatever, and I only got 100 fragments. I was like, what the? This has got to be broken. So like, I put in a ticket, and after conversing with my alliance, that's pretty much it. You're not even guaranteed fragments. So, what I did find, and here's a tip, a bro tip for all y'all out there, don't do times 9. What I found is I get the most amount of shard or fragments when I do 1 or 3 at a time. Don't do more than 3. So like only, spend, if you're on a 10 energy node, only do 30 energy. If you're on a 20 energy node, only do 60 at a time. Don't do any more than that, and you'll end up getting more fragments. I had to learn that the hard way. I probably spent about 150 cores before I even realized that. Now I'm a little bit more frugal and tactical with how I go about spending my energy in that event. That said, I was there at the beginning of the event, and I have 15 Antman shards. That's on top of me spending all my cores and everything. OXTS, I guess, spent like $120, and he only has like 25 shards or something. So, keep that in mind. I mean, this event, I think, is meant and designed to be a cash grab. And as a player of this genre of games for well over a year now, coming up on like a year and a half, I'm not a big fan of that. I like that he's accessible. Is he game-changing? We're going to get into that a little bit. I'll go over, you know, him more detail, what I think of his kit and what I think he means for the meta. But how you unlock him, it plays a big part in that. Because I'm going to be upfront with you. The chances of you getting him to a star count that's going to make him meta-changing in any way, shape, or form is pretty slim. Unless they change the drop rate of fragments by the end of the event, I think it's highly unlikely that the vast majority of the player base will get him to 4 stars even. You know, and if you played any of the other events, if you were in a decent alliance, you could get like a 4 or even 5-star Thanos or Deadpool. And that was the benefit of being in a good alliance. And this kind of circumvents that, you know, making it so you don't really have to be in a good alliance. I don't necessarily think that that's good for the game. I think encouraging people to find better alliances and create better alliances and better environments is pivotal in these type of games in the long run, especially with Alliance Wars coming around. So, like, why that they would do an event that kind of makes that trivial is just kind of blows my mind. But that said, the fragment counts are very small. You need 2,000 of them, like every other, just to get, you know, unlock the orb, just like all the other events. It's very similar, but the difference is like in the raids you were guaranteed fragments. You're not guaranteed any fragments in this event, which is kind of like a downfall, and it's something that's up for debate, and it is a huge topic on Reddit and in any of the other communities and Discord and so forth and so on. So, not a fan of that. Maybe they change it, maybe they don't. I had come into this event with a metric fuck ton of gold, ready to invest into Antman, because I'd heard from, you know, Mobile Gamer and Casino that he was going to be meta changing. Yeah, maybe not. I mean, if you can get him up to a decent star level, then maybe I would say he needs to be at least 5 to be meta changing, because he's not super tanky. He has a great kit. I just don't. I think he'll be great in Arena because of his kit. Wasp, like, I'm not so sure about. I understand that they have amazing synergy, which I love seeing. Like, I love seeing the Deadpool Cable synergy. I'm glad that there is another, you know, set of characters that have great synergy, because I think that ultimately in the end changes the meta in a lot of ways. And I've played other games, so I know this. Having characters that piggyback off each other like that absolutely changes the meta up, because it changes what kind of characters and what your composition is, because you know, it's easy to squeeze in one character, but two, it kind of you have to change up your entire strategy and philosophy on what you're building and how you're doing it. So that said, great kit. He can definitely be meta changing, but don't count on getting him to a star level where he is going to be. He'll be great. You might be able to get him to 2, maybe 3 stars by the end of the event. Who knows? It's hard to tell. Like, I've only gotten, like I said, in 24 hours almost, I've only gotten 15 shards. Now, keep in mind that I also spent cores. I don't plan on spending cores anymore on this event because of the poor fragment drop rate. It's atrocious. Maybe my strategy of only doing, 3 at a time when I auto it will pay off in the end. Who knows? But as of now, I'm not counting on having him part of my A team or my B team for that matter. Maybe farther down the line, or perhaps if, I end up getting really lucky and getting more fragments. But I'm not banking on that. So, like, if you're hoarding gold, hoping that, like, he's going to be this meta-changing character and you want to instantly throw him into your lineup, yeah, don't hold your breath. Like, it's not going to be that simple. Maybe in a week or two, when his event is closer to the end, and you might have him up in a higher star count. But until then, you've got plenty of time in between now and then to accumulate enough gold to get him to a respectable level. And even at that point, I'd say a week after he ends, we're probably going to see another payday event. So if you weren't lucky enough, if you've had trouble with some of the the payday events and some of the blaster events, I do have videos on those. Check my channel. As far as his kit goes, I think it can definitely be meta changing. His second ability gives ability block for up to 2 turns. When it's maxed out, you can essentially take a Drax out of the equation, a Crossbones out of the equation, a Kingpin, a Hand Sentry. All those problematic characters at high tier arena rank can just be nullified. He has an AoE slow that doesn't do a whole lot of damage. It doesn't do like Quake damage, but it definitely does enough damage where you don't want to ignore it. The animations on him and Wasp in particular are phenomenal. Like, especially Antman. Like, I just enjoy playing him. So even if he's not meta changing, like, I would love to like throw him into my lineup just because he's so cool to look at, man. Like, I would even slow the game down. I've actually sped it up here. This isn't how I normally played. This is actually most of my game speed was ×1, and then I made it faster for the purpose of this video so I could fit all of my matches in here so you get an idea. But he's really fun to look at, and he can have some great synergy with some of the lineups that are already out there, and with a lot of the characters that are already out there, especially with Wasp, because she has the dodge. You can throw a Spidey in there and Nebula. There's a lot of things that you can do to create like evade teams. So, and she would, like, Wasp Ant-Man will go great under Hand Sentry because of that evade, because she gets charged every time that she evades an attack. So, like, her kit's pretty cool. I'm not going to go over her kit too much in detail right now as I'm focusing on Ant-Man. I guess she's coming out on the 12th. That's the word on the street. Don't hold me to that. That's just based on everything I've heard so far and the things that I've read. I think that Ant-Man eventually down the line can be game-changing. Are you going to be able to throw him in your lineup right away? Likely not. You need to be prepared for that. So if you've you got a bunch of gold invested elsewhere, build your A team, get a B or C team up for Blitz. If you don't have Raid, if you don't have say your Night Nurse a little bit higher, there's a rumor that Thanos Raid is coming back. You're probably going to want to have your Night Nurse at least 17k. Try and shoot for that, 17, 18k. She's amazing, especially upgrade her AoE heal ability and her second heal ability to the max, to rank 6 if you can. We're also getting a level increase soon. I'll be discussing that more in a video coming up, which I'm going to be pumping out more. I got next few days off, so I'm going to spend some time. Sorry, I've been MIA. It's been a busy week for me, folks, but I appreciate you being patient. Now, you can see here, here's my first orb opening, and I got incredibly lucky where I got 8. I got that 8, so I got 10 right off the bat, and then I got 5 again on my next one, which got me 15. Okay, you're not always going to get that lucky, so if you factor that in, who knows how long it's going to take. It takes 45 shards to unlock him, so I'm not banking on having him at a very high star count. Hey, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before about certain things, but who knows? We'll see. Here's his kit. We got Scrappy Fighter, which is his basic attack primary target for 100% damage and copy effect from the target to self with a 70% chance to clear the copied effect. Once you max it up, it always clears the copied effect. So Kingpins, if you're seeing them and they're getting their defense, offense up, you can get that on him, where he can do a bunch of damage. He doesn't copy taunt though, but he can remove it. So if you're going, and that's why he'll be changing in arena. Secondary, gum up the works, attack primary target for damage, always apply ability block. It goes up to 2 turns, as you see at level 6. That is his bread and butter. That's exactly why you want to have him in your lineup for that. Stomp is his AoE slow, does some damage, does more if Wasp is in the party, and it will slow everybody. Does it negate Quake? Not so sure, but it'd be a great complement to Quake, and you're keeping slow up constantly. And then escape plan, on spawn, apply evade to Wasp, which automatically gives her charge, and his assist next actually hits up, like, procs a lot more than you would think. So if you're unfamiliar with how assist next works, it's kind of a new mechanic. On his turn, he has a chance to assist the next person that goes after him, and it's pretty nifty. I really like it. So at the end of the day, is he a stud or is he a dud? I think the event as a whole is kind of a dud. I'm not a big fan of how it went down, but at the end of the day, if you can get him up to like 4 or 5 stars, he's definitely a stud, and he's meta changing. There's no disputing it whatsoever, even if you don't have Wasp in your lineup. So I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Pay attention, I got new content coming out next few days, and I'm going to keep it coming out regularly. I appreciate the support and anybody that's been commenting and giving me those likes and those subscribes. Much obliged to all of you. Take care, and as always, be the change that you want to see in the community.